Okay, and we're running out the clock. Good morning, beloveds. I am an hour late, and I apologize. One, I woke up at 10 after 7 and thought, nope, you know what? I'd like to sleep till 8. Woke up at 8:30. I was like, you know what? I stayed up too late. And partly because I could, because very rarely do I get to stay up that late. Partly because I flipped past Lifetime and they were talking about the story of Naomi Winona and Ashley Judd, and I got kind of sucked into the story. It was interesting. And I feel so sorry for that whole family. Yeah. And because I don't have to, neither of us have to work today, which is super exciting. I usually know when I'm going to have a Monday off. And so I try and tell my partner in enough time that he can take the day off as well. And so it is Memorial Day. And I really appreciated what Jesse said yesterday. We don't celebrate Memorial Day. We observe Memorial Day. Because Memorial Day is that holiday where, for the soldiers who died in war, died in service. And it's a super important holiday to remember, it's a super important day to remember. It's a super important thing to remember, that there are people who believed enough in this country to give their lives for it. So, here we are, Memorial Day. It's not about backyard barbecues and, mattress sales. It's something far greater, although backyard barbecues with your family is a good thing. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying. So, yeah, there we are. So we're going to hang out and have gluten-free waffles and bacon. And we went for our first bike ride of the season. Once the temperature hits 80 degrees, when I would get out to exercise, we switched to biking. Because it's too hot. It's at 7:30 in the morning, if it's 80 degrees, so it feels like 86 or even 90, because I've seen it do that. You know what? Except for Saturday, when I don't have to go anywhere, so I can be a sweaty mess all day. I definitely switched to biking, and I'm also trying to run out the clock on schools, because once I don't have to deal with school traffic, the roads are a lot safer for those of us on bikes. But it was a nice ride, and my legs are going to tell me off later. So yeah. But hopefully it'll be good for my knees, because biking is really good for your knees. And my knees have been struggling, just absolutely struggling. I don't know why I'm putting my glasses on. We need to do the housekeeping. So what we are doing, other than me rambling for 2-3 minutes, is living the science of mind. So let's do the housekeeping first, which is just me reminding you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email is info@creativelife.org. Get you one email a week, unless something unusual happens, where we get, hang on, there are words, where we get, nope. Tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot, and it's a blind CC. So, which is important, because nobody's going to see your email. So no, you're not going to end up on anybody else's email because of us. So, I know there's a lot of sketchy places where you put your email in. We are not one of them. All right. Now, social media, because apparently my brain is weird this morning. It's weird every day, though, so that's okay. It's normal for me. The social medias, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. And the reason I tell you this is because we do not monetize our social media. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than we want you to have to deal with the ads. So what we ask you to do is engage with our pages. Go like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, especially on the posts, because that bumps us in the algorithms. So we appreciate it when you do that. All right, so that should be everything, I think. So Living Science of Mind, collection of essays from a take-home course that was in the back of the Science of Mind. Although, honestly, I really think that a lot of them came out of, hey, Ernest, what about this? So, now the one we're doing today may definitely have been written for a class, or maybe it's somebody who went up to Ernest and said, hey, so what do you think about the 23rd Psalm? The 23rd Psalm. What do you think about it? And so this is Ernest's answer. We are going to do the Lord is my shepherd, an interpretation of the 23rd Psalm. So this is what Ernest and Science of Mind think about that particular psalm. Now, I will tell you before I get started that there's an author that I particularly enjoyed named Terry Pratchett. He wrote a book called Small Gods. In Small Gods, he posited how different religion would be if we modeled them on goat herders rather than sheep shepherds, because sheep have to be led. They have no brains in their head. They have to be led. Goats, on the other hand, have minds of their own and cannot be led, can only be guided. So I would tell you that Science of Mind attempts to be goat herders rather than sheep herders, because we understand you have your own mind. We're not trying to tell you something you don't know. What we are trying to do is remind you of what you already know. Guiding, not leading. All right. So the Lord is my shepherd. Centuries ago, the psalmist caught a divine inspiration and began to think about God as the good shepherd. And as he did so, a great wave of peace flowed through his whole being, a feeling of trust and confidence, and his soul began to sing within him. Of all the inspired writings of the ages, none is more beautiful than the 23rd Psalm. None more filled with a quiet contentment and complete assurance. None more replete with the comfort and consolation of the thought that we are not left alone to buffet our way through life, here or hereafter. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. A shepherd cares for his sheep lovingly and kindly, feeds and shelters them, and tends them if they are ill. Throughout the Bible, we find references to the shepherd as the loving presence, guiding, guarding, and keeping. The sheep do not worry. They are not afraid, for they have a sense of being cared for, a feeling of security. When we let the Lord of all creation take care of us, we are following the good shepherd who knows their sheep and loves them. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. To lie down in green pastures suggests relaxation in the midst of abundance, an abundance which is already provided, a good which is divinely given. The words green pastures refers to a place of rest. Green is the most restful and comforting color in nature. It brings to our minds the picture of a shady nook where we can rest in the middle of the day. He leadeth me beside still waters. To complete the picture, the psalmist tells us that this pasture is beside still waters, referring to the river of life in which there is no conflict, no turmoil. Ooh, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Oof. Okay. He restoreth my soul. Just let all the cares of yesterday flow out and all the burdens go with them. For the soul cannot be restored by the river of life unless it lets go of the past and discovers that a new future is forever flowing around it. Something fresh and clean and new and wonderful. And that's kind of an important part right there. It's one of the reasons why Eckhart Tolle has made so much money, is because all we have is the present. We want to learn from the past. We don't want to, so we want to carry the lessons from the past with us into the present, but we don't want to carry all of the with us. If we can let that go. And here's where, we can talk all we want about, forgiving and forgetting. You don't have to forget. You also don't have to forgive. That's totally up to you. But if you choose to forgive, you do not have to give that person access to you anymore. So you can let it all go and keep them at a distance. Okay. It's always important when you're talking about forgiveness work. It doesn't mean you got to let them back in your life. All right. But to restore your soul, you got to let that stuff go. And I do speak from a little bit of experience. All right. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When we follow the pathway of righteousness, which means right useness, very important distinction there. And when we take the name of God with us, then we are in line with the great harmony of the universe, and we are restored in body, mind, and soul, because the Spirit always makes everything new. Right useness. I think that his idea of righteousness was very heavily influenced by the Buddhist idea of right. Right use, right work, right, it's about making sure that what you are doing is best for you, best for, the planet, best for it's being in harmony with nature, right useness. People get righteous about weird things, but if you can break the word down from righteous to right use, makes a difference. All right. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of the death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Death is but a shadow cast by life. The divine Spirit brought us into this world. It has never deserted us, and it will remain with us forever. We cannot wander away from God. It is destined by the divine will that good shall come at last alike to all. It just may take some of us a little longer to get there. I'm currently reading a book called The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. All right. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. All right, Ernest, lay it on me. A rod or a staff was used by the shepherd to protect himself and his sheep. Like many other symbols in the Bible, it refers to the staff of truth or our complete reliance on the law of good. Okay, all right. So the shepherd's crook, they use it to move sheep around, to actually pick sheep up. That's why it's got the hook on the end so they can pick up. Like if a baby falls off then they can pick it up. That's part of the point of that. So I can see how he's referring it, using it to reference the law. When we learn how to use the law appropriately, it works a whole lot better. All right. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Ugh. The table of the Lord is forever spread, and on it are the gifts of life, including health, happiness, joy, and success in living. Good can be found anywhere if we look for it. Abundance can spring from want, peace from confusion, and joy from unhappiness, right where we are. The table of God is eternally spread, but if we are too busy to come and eat, then we cannot expect to partake of the divine bounty. If we are too busy to eat. And, spread in front of basically that table's spread for everybody. There's nobody who cannot access that table. It does not matter how they're behaving. But that's interesting that it said if we are too busy to come and eat. Because frequently that's exactly what will happen. It's like we get so busy doing whatever it is that we're doing, we forget, oh wait, there's this table over here. We can go and eat at that table. And we see everybody else doing it, and then we're mad. Let's go back to the prodigal son, because the son that was not the prodigal son, he's like, but I've been here the whole time. And the father's like, all you had to do was ask if we're too busy to come and eat. Oh, I like that line. I'm gonna highlight that one really quick because I'm gonna remember that one. All right. But if we are too busy to come and eat, that sounds like a top title. Might think about that. All right. Thou anointest my head with oil. The Eastern custom of the host anointing the heads of his guests with oil was a symbol of complete hospitality, of perfect welcome. Well, there's nothing else that needs to be said about that. My cup runneth over. God's abundance is an extravagant abundance. It is limitless. Our cup could be filled and running over if we would only hold the cup right side up. Too often we reverse this process because we do not realize that the divine spirit wishes us to have everything that is good and withholds nothing from us. If we would only have the cup right side up. And how many times? Well, and in the Philosophy Friday, one of the members said, I think he got this from his minister a while ago. If your cup runneth over, go get a bucket. Which, it's like sometimes the abundance is spilling all around us just because we have our cup upside down. It's like, you got to pay attention to this process. You got to pay. That's why consciousness. It's one of the drum beats of science of mind. All right. This is the last line. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all of the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Goodness will always be available to us, and there will always be mercy for our mistakes. This goodness and this mercy will never forsake us because there is a presence and a power that goes with us and is within us, the loving presence of the divine spirit and the all-conquering power of the law of good. Well, that was the 23rd Psalm. And he's right. He's right. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. It is inspired. It is, and he said what I said. He said guiding, guarding. He didn't say leading. So Ernest definitely recognized who he was working with. He definitely recognized that the people that he's dealing with, I belong to a group called the Mystic Mavericks. And the reason I do is because that's science of mind. Everybody flying in science of mind, they're mavericks. They like to think for themselves. They're going to make up their own minds. We can tell them whatever we want to tell them, which is why we always say we're not trying to tell you something you don't know. All we're doing is reminding you of what you already know, what you may have forgotten, what may have gotten lost in the busyness of this world. That table's spread and we're too busy to come eat because we're busy with the ness of this life. We're busy with the ness of this life. Okay. Well, there's a table and we need to make sure that we go to that table at least once a day. And we need to make sure that our cup is right side up. And how do we do that? Regular spiritual practice. Welcome to my regular spiritual practice. This is my regular spiritual practice. It's not the only one, but this is it. Me reading Ernest Holmes books live online, whether anybody's listening or not. All right, beloveds, that's it. The 23rd Psalm, according to Ernest and me. So, all right, beloveds, I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a observe Memorial Day, a do what you got to do day, a take a break day, and eat something amazing because I smell bacon day, a take care of yourself day, a do something for yourself day, for only you day, a check out those spiritual practices day, go read the Psalms day, because that may be the most beautiful, but it's not the only one. There's some good ones in there. A tell somebody you love them day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a drink plenty of water day, a do something you haven't done in a while, i.e. go for a bike ride, a stretch it out day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You're spirit in motion, God in action, a beloved, beautiful light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, A beloved expression of the divine. Yeah. Okay. A beautiful masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. As Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right, beloveds. Oh, I'm going to take a deep breath and remind you. Yeah, I can smell bacon. It's just clouding my mind. To get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the divine knows you to be good. Explore the truth of your being. All the divine knows is good. So the divine knows you to be good. That is the truth of your being. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Take care of yourself. Oh, wait. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you, or whenever. I will be back with you around 9:15 tomorrow, because I do get to go back to work tomorrow. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.